Yesterday, the Washington Post came out with a report, which NBC News now has confirmed, that says a U.S. intel assessment believes North Korea now has the ability to miniaturize a nuclear weapon and attach it to a missile. However, according to a U.S. official briefed on the intelligence, that does not necessarily mean Pyongyang has a nuclear-tipped ICBM, nor that it could survive re-entry if the country did. The report prompted that response from President Donald Trump, the one we played there at the top of the show. Here it is again.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you.
Hours after President Trump's warning, North Korean state media announced the regime is, quote, seriously considering a plan to strike the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam, creating a, quote, enveloping fire around the island. That's from state media in North Korea. Guam is home to major U.S. military installations, including Andersen Air Force Base and the B-1 bombers recently used in the show of force that followed North Korea's latest ICBM test. So, Joe, there, what's notable is North Korea specifically talking about an attack on Guam. Still, it's just rhetoric, but it's more specific rhetoric than we've heard in the past.
What's more specific rhetoric, Willie, and it's the sort of rhetoric that we've grown to expect from North Korea. It's not, though, what we expect from any of our presidents, from presidents of the United States. David Ignatius, I know some people were throwing around examples in the past where Bill Clinton or somebody else may have said something about strikes against North Korea, but nothing to this degree. And again, going back to what we were talking about a year ago, there had been some concern in the international community. There had been some concern among foreign policy experts that Donald Trump might take extreme measures if he were elected president of the United States. Well, one of my children called me yesterday and said, well, you were concerned about this last year. I said, well, that was last year. We didn't expect him to win. This is now, and this suddenly became very, very frightening. David, tell us where we are. Tell us what you're hearing from foreign policy experts and what you're hearing from allies and others overseas.
Well, Joe, this crisis, which has been coming at us in slow motion for months, has just speeded up big time. There's several reasons for that. One is the intelligence reports that we referred to earlier, which say that the North Korean ability to put a nuclear weapon on top of a missile is probably farther along than we thought even a month ago. So their capabilities are growing. President Trump has ratcheted up the rhetoric with his fire and fury comment, and we're rightly focusing on that and thinking about his temperament. But it's also true that in the last weeks, he has also increased his efforts to draw China into the diplomacy that might seek a peaceful resolution of this crisis. From early in his presidency, he saw Beijing as the key to some way of dealing with North Korea. He's made some progress on that. Last weekend, China joined the United States in a unanimous UN Security Council resolution condemning North Korea for its continuing missile tests and adding new sanctions. The North Koreans have rejected any possibility of negotiating. But interestingly, I think the president's rhetoric, this fire and fury stuff, is as much intended to scare China that he might take action, which would be devastating for China's region, as it is North Korea. The president wants China to put itself in between the U.S. and North Korea as a way out of this. To do that, he thinks he's got to be very, very threatening.
And where, David, are his generals? Where is General Mattis? Where is General McMaster? Where is General Kelly when the president is lobbing such hot rhetorical bombs North Korea's way?
From the first days of the presidency of Donald Trump, his top military advisors, starting with Secretary of Defense Mattis, have been warning that conflict on the Korean Peninsula would be at a level of civilian casualties, a level of destruction that the world has not seen, one official said, since Stalingrad in World War II. Just a terrible cost in human lives. So that's understood, that there is not a good military option here. That said, these senior officials, Mattis, McMaster, all of the people who work for them are now working to give President Trump military options to look at this very tough military problem. How do you take out North Korean weapons without leading them to attack Seoul just across the DMZ and kill hundreds of thousands of South Koreans? That's the problem that they're looking at. I don't think they have good answers, but no one should think that this is just rhetoric. The military planning is going on right now. It's accelerating in Pacific Command, headed by Harry Harris. So, you know, our military people are staying up late trying to answer Trump's question, how do you do this?
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.